Hi, I'm Philip Exany, and in this video I will show you how to install Claude Code on your system. We'll cover how to check the requirements, because you can't just install Claude Code with any Claude subscription. You want to make sure that you're eligible to use Claude Code. Then I will show you how to install the Claude binaries, so that is the part that runs on your system. And also as a bonus, I will show you how to install the Claude Code VS Code extension, and I will guide you through the first steps. So let's get started. Before you can install Claude Code, you want to make sure that you have the subscription that actually allows you to use Claude Code. So here I am on claude.com/pricing. And there you can see, if you scroll down a little bit, a feature and capabilities overview table where you can see the different subscriptions that Claude offers. And here in the second line, you can see that not all of the subscriptions actually allow to use Claude Code. So if you have a free subscription, you can't use Claude Code. So you want to make sure that you are having either the Pro or a Max or Max 20 subscription. So how do you find out which subscription you have? For this, you can go to your Claude.ai page. So that is basically the chat page that you can use to chat with Claude. And there you want to go to the open sidebar bit on the left side of the window. And once you click that, then you can see on the lower left what your plan is. So here you can see my username, and then I'm having the max plan. So if you see free there, then you need to upgrade your plan if you want to use Claude Code. If you have the Pro plan, then you're fine to use Claude Code. After you've checked that you have a subscription that offers Claude Code, next you need to install it on your system. And the most convenient way is, if you're already on your Claude AI page, to click that Get Apps and Extensions button. And once you click it, you will come to a page where you can see all the ways how you can use Claude. So not just Claude Code, but Claude in general. And there is an area that offers Claude Code with a little mascot down here. And there you can see the different variants how you can use Claude Code. Now, there is a difference between all these variants. The variants that we will cover will be the terminal and VS Code. Let's start with the terminal. So let's click the Install button, and then you will be transferred to the Claude Code documentation, where you can find the commands how to install Claude Code on your system. So there are different variants depending on the system. So we have Mac OS, we have Windows, and Homebrew and WinGet. So choose the operating system that you are having. And for me, that's Mac OS. So this one here is my command. And now I want to point something out that is very important generally, because most of those new applications that you can download in the internet, they have this nice one-liner, which is a curl command that points you to an installation script. And basically what that means, and we will do this in a second, is you download the script and you execute the script. However, you usually want to make sure that you understand what that script does. So I will kind of take a little detour in having a look at the installation script before we're installing it. If you don't want to take the detour, then use the chapter markers in this video to jump to the chapter where the actual installation happens. So let's do a little detour and have a look at the script. So I will copy the command, and I will get a mini note out here to paste the command, because I just want to have a look at this little shell script that installs Claude Code. And what you usually can do is you can just open the shell script in your browser, and the browser should just display the raw contents of that script. So here you can basically see the script that runs when we run the installation in a moment. And usually when you're looking at scripts like this, you just want to make sure that there is nothing fishy in it. If you download official applications, then there should never be anything fishy in it. But if you find a script like this from a source that you don't trust, always have a look at the script. And there we can, for example, see that they are building the download URL. And actually, you can kind of like pick those URLs together. We won't do this in this video, but you can actually check which version you would download. And then you can see where it will download the binary that it gets and then the stuff that it will do. So there are a bunch of checks in here to check that everything is sound. So both the binary that it's downloaded and that your system supports Claude Code. So there are a bunch of if-else statements there. And then in the end, after you've downloaded the file, it will be installed. And later you will see a little message that the installation was complete. So that is the script that will basically be downloaded once we click copy and execute this command in our terminal. And that's what we'll do now. To install Claude Code on your system, you need to copy your installation command. And again, make sure that you're selecting the operating system that you're on. Click copy, and then hop over to your terminal and paste the command there. At this point, it doesn't make much difference in which folder in your operating system you're in, because as you saw in the installation script a moment ago, it will be downloaded into a .claude folder in your home directory anyway. So you can execute that script from anywhere on your system. And once you press enter, the curl command basically grabs this installation script, and then the content of the script will be piped into this bash command and execute the content. So that might take a moment. And once you see that it's showing messages, setting up Claude Code, and then installing the Claude Code native build latest. So that basically means the latest version of Claude Code. In the past, you also were able to install Claude Code with npm, but that's not the recommended way anymore. So you want to make sure if you're installing Claude Code fresh to use the native build. And there we go. Now you can see the installation complete message. That was the message that we expected in the installation script. So everything worked fine and Claude Code is installed on your system. But before you can really use it, you need to follow a few steps in order to authenticate Claude Code with your Claude account. So I was saying before that it doesn't matter so much in which folder you are on your system when you are downloading Claude Code and installing it. But now in order to run Claude Code the first time, I recommend to do a few things. So a few things is a bit ambiguous. What I mean is create a little environment where you can use Claude Code, and you know if you go into that folder when you run Claude Code that everything is fine. So currently I'm in my user folder here, and that is basically not the place where I want to execute Claude Code, especially not for the first time. So instead I want to make a directory, and what I like to have is some kind of like scratchpad directory. And that will be the directory that I can always jump into if I want to try out something. So I will create the scratchpad directory and then move into that directory. So now I'm in the scratchpad directory, which is in my user folder. And now I can use clear in order to clear the terminal. And now I run Claude for the first time. When you run Claude Code for the first time, you will go into an onboarding process. And I kind of find it sad that we just jumped over this nice artwork here. So usually it will start with this nice little artwork. And then if you scroll down, you can see that we're already in the onboarding process. This onboarding process will make sure that Claude Code will look and feel how you want it to look and feel. So first is the text style that you want to use, and you can use the up and down keys in order to select the inputs that you have. So currently we need to select the theme that we want to work in, and there you can choose between light modes and dark modes, colorblind friendly and just ANSI colors. But what I find usually the best is to use the auto match terminal version, because depending on how your terminal looks, this usually looks the best. But choose what feels best for you and confirm it with enter. And then you need to connect to Claude Code. All right, so what I want you to select here is Claude account with subscription. And once you press enter, your browser should open. And in your browser, you should see a message like this. Claude Code would like to connect your Claude Chat account. And there you want to click Authorize. If your browser window didn't open, then you can copy and paste this big link into your browser and you should see the same page. So once you authorize it, you will see a message that you logged in successfully, and then you can press enter to continue. Before you jump into Claude Code, there is also a security note that Claude Code can make mistakes and that you always need to be careful about prompt injection risks. So if you're curious about all of this, then make sure to read the docs there, or leave me a comment if you want to learn more about this. Then I'm happy to create a video for that. For the installation process, let's just acknowledge these notes and press enter to continue. And then finally, you need to confirm that you want to use the recommended settings. And then you're basically in the folder that you started Claude with. And this is a message you will always see when you start Claude Code for the first time in some folder. And that is that you need to have a quick safety check and ensure that the project you're in right now is trustworthy. But it also goes the other way around, and that is that you are trusting Claude Code to work with these files. So if these are personal files or company files, you usually don't want Claude Code just to work with it. You want to make other precautions there first. But for a personal project, usually this message is something you should read and then accept and saying, yes, I trust this folder. And that's basically it. So now we're in Claude Code and Claude Code is ready to work. We could start working now, but we first want to also install Claude Code for VS Code. If we're jumping back into the browser, you can see that there are other installation options for Claude Code, for example, VS Code and JetBrains, to install Claude Code as an extension. I'm showing you how to install it with VS Code. If you're using JetBrains, then you can go basically the similar way just for your JetBrains IDE. If you have no idea what VS Code is or JetBrains, then you can just jump to the next chapter and not take this little route about installing the VS Code extension. If you know what VS Code is and you're wondering if you need the extension, my suggestion is to just try it out, because there is no harm in having Claude Code in your terminal and also having it as a VS Code extension. So let's click install, and then we will jump to the marketplace where you can install VS Code extensions, and there click the install button, and that usually opens your VS Code extension after a little pop-up that you accept that it's okay to open VS Code. And then you will basically jump in VS Code into the marketplace, basically to the same page. And there you need to click the install button again. Just like installing Claude Code on your terminal, this also takes a moment. And the important bit here to know is that you're basically installing a second Claude instance on your computer. So it's not that the extension works with the binary file that you were just installing. So you could also skip that binary part and just use the extension. But again, like I like to have both. So you can see that it's installed if you saw the buttons change, and now it's saying disable and uninstall instead of install. And also you can see here on the left side in the sidebar of VS Code that there is a nice little asterisk saying Claude Code. So let's click that, and then you should see the Claude Code pane opening with all your sessions. Since we haven't had a session yet, there are no sessions yet. Let's click New Session and check if Claude Code opens. The cool thing is, since you already authorized with Claude Code in your terminal, you should also be authorized here as well. If you would install the extension for VS Code without the Claude Code binary, then you would need to authorize here. But since we already did this, basically the settings are checked and you're ready to go. Congratulations, you just installed Claude Code in a very nice way. You not just have it as a binary on your system, but also in VS Code, so you can use it wherever you want. And that basically just scratches the surface, obviously, of all the things that you can do with Claude Code. So is there something you're curious about, what you want to accomplish with Claude Code? Let me know, and I'm happy to record a video just for that. Otherwise, I will just find my way around Claude Code and present a few cool tricks in my upcoming videos and workflows that will hopefully be useful for you. So thanks for watching and see you then.